And our top story, as I said, India's drug regulator approved Oxford COVID-19 vaccine Covishield, manufactured by the Serum Institute of India, and indigenously developed Covaxin of Bharat Biotech for restricted emergency use in the country, paving the way for a massive inoculation drive. DCGI granted the approval on the basis of recommendations by a COVID-19 subject expert committee of the Central Drug Standard Control Organization, that is DCGI. This paves the way for the rollout of at least 2 vaccines in India in the days to come. This is a big breaking development and the story that Republic has been tracking very closely since this morning, as Prime Minister Narendra Modi has also gone on to laud the effort of our scientists, India becoming the first nation to come out with its indigenous vaccine, which has now gotten an approval. Joining us on the broadcast are our special guests. I'll quickly introduce them. Dr. Sanjeev Bagai, he is the chairman of Nephron Clinic, live with us from the National Capital, and also Dr. Tiku, who continues to stay with us, Associate Director, Internal Medicine, Max Healthcare. Dr. Sanjeev Bagai, if I could come to you first, also because we have been putting out all the statements as put out by the AIIMS Director. I want you to throw light on the bigger aim that we have and should have at this point, because as he says it, the priority is to reduce the mortality rate. 2020 has obviously been a very difficult year to deal with, given the number of cases, the increase in the number of cases, and how and what our plan should be in 2021, given both the vaccines now have the nod, and when it comes to Covishield, the supply also is more in place.
Good afternoon. I think there will be many simultaneous verticals which will be moving in the same direction. One is, over a period of the year of 2021, we will see the virus, as far as the viral load is concerned, to ebb down. Point number 2 is we are moving towards, and we should move towards, achieving an aim of developing a reasonable amount of pan-India herd immunity. And in the process, while we are trying to achieve it, our main target is to reduce the mortality and reduce the critical ill patients so that we can save more and more lives. Keeping these 2 or 3 major factors in mind, and all will be working simultaneously, the vaccine is going to go a long way trying to achieve the same. Now, any vaccine generally has 4 arms as an end point of achievement. One is to decrease the transmission, that means decrease infection. 2 is to decrease the conversion of infection into disease, mild, moderate or severe. 3rd is to decrease the overall load of critically ill patients which land up in the ICU, unfortunately. And 4 is to decrease the mortality, that means decrease the death rate. Now, we have one vaccine which is from Pune, which is the Serum Institute, the Oxford-Zeneca, and the other one which has got a nod today of restricted use under emergency authorization. So I think both these working simultaneously will go a long way. The Serum Institute one, of course, is a couple of months ahead in terms of getting the research data in and analyzed. The Bharat Biotech will still take another 2 months or so before we get the final data analyzed by the Indian government of phase 3 completed trials. Having said that, there's a lot of hue and cry as to why something has been given as restricted emergency use. But keep in mind, almost 23,000 patients have already given the data in, of 23,000 patients, and out of which 20 odd are of the first shot and 10 are pending the second shot. So I think in a next course of few weeks, we would get adequate amount of data. But having said that, both these vaccines are pronounced to be safe. So there should be no misinformation which is being projected by certain naysayers and anti-vaccine and anti-scientific group. It is efficacious, it is for mass use. And if the stringent authorities of India's regulatory boards have approved it, please give them merit. They would have gone through each and every bit of detail.
Absolutely. Dr. Tiku, like we were also talking in the previous broadcast, that it is very important to put out this message. There are certain naysayers who are showing doubts in these vaccines that have gotten the nod for emergency use. Now, also the fact that it takes years to prepare a vaccine. Our scientists have worked at neck-breaking speed to achieve what they have. And now, when Doctors and scientists constantly say, have faith in us. We have done our due diligence, and this is what is important. People should not worry. Those who are spreading any sort of misinformation must be ignored because they have worked through this in the most appropriate manner.
Of course, yes, we have to fight this misinformation campaign. Something which takes years to develop has been done in less than 1 year. And it's thanks to the efforts of the scientists, the researchers, the clinicians. They have worked overnight. And earlier it used to take many years because there were a lot of commercial imperatives, red tapeism, which the governments and the authorities have taken care of. And that's why we have a vaccine in less than 1 year. So we should be optimistic. We should be excited about it, not be negative about the whole thing. And what we need to fight is the misinformation campaign. People are just going by the WhatsApp forwards that they're getting on social media, not listening to the experts. And here, our regulatory authorities have done due diligence. They've gone through the data. They've taken their own time in doing so. It's not that the vaccine was authorized for use in UK and the next day it was done here. So they've gone through the data rigorously, methodically, carefully, and that's when they've given a go ahead and the vaccine will be rolled out soon. So what we really need, badly need at this point of time is to make people understand the benefits of the vaccine and how it will go a long way in reducing the mortality further and breaking the transmission of infection of this particular virus, which has been creating havoc for the last 1 year. So people have to come forward. We, for that matter, the healthcare workers have to set an example for them. We anyway are getting the vaccine in the initial phase, and I don't have any qualms in taking the vaccine, and that's how it should be for each and every citizen of the country. That we have enough data which says it's safe, efficacious. The same vaccine is going to be rolled out in UK also. So they've also gone through the data, and there's nothing which shows that there are major safety concerns. And even the trials have shown that. The bridging trials have also happened in India. And the data which they have, the Serum Institute has submitted to the regulatory authorities says that. And that's why the vaccine is being rolled out. Otherwise, they wouldn't have gone ahead with it. So there's no reason to be negative. I would say let's focus on taking the vaccine. And if we manage to give it to the priority population, it will go a long way in reducing the risk of transmission and the mortality.
Right. Dr. Bagai, I also want to come to you with this question, and for our viewers, for you to throw more light on the kind of timelines we are looking at, because obviously the priority are the frontline health workers, 3 crore who will be given the vaccine for free. For the common man who's observing how the process will be rolled out, when is it that the vaccine will be available? And of course, doctors continue to reiterate on the safety and the efficacy of it, but when is it that we'll finally have a larger population get vaccinated?
Yeah, so every person who continues to get vaccinated, even after the first dose, is going to move India towards reaching a societal or a community-developed herd immunity. Now, we know that in the prioritized list, the first set would be the doctors, then, of course, would be the other frontline workers and the elderlies with comorbidities, then below 50 with comorbidities and so on. So the first set, of course, will be the doctors. Now, there's a lot of recent study, which is as new as yesterday, in which especially the Joint Commission of Immunization and Vaccinology in US has actually recommended that after the first shot, since the vaccines in the initial 2 or 3 or 4 months will be in shorter supply before their production is ramped up, the second dose can be deferred. Instead of at 4 weeks, it can be given any time between 8 and 12 weeks. What that would actually do is make available the second shot for the first set of people. That shot would actually be available as the first dose for a new section of population. So you'll be able to spread the net wider and paint the canvas in a larger way so that we can capture more amount of people. Now, anytime after 12 to 14 days after the first injection, you start getting an immune response. So our aim is to build up an immune response. Of course, the second shot is extremely important because that gives you the sustained long-term immunity, what we call as through the memory cells and the T cells and the B cells. But our aim is to vaccinate as many number of people in a proper protocol, scientific manner, in a safe methodology, so that we can achieve this. I think the first set of people would probably be getting it sometimes in the middle of this month, maybe another 10, 12 days. It's the local logistics of transportation, cargo, freight, getting the supplies in, maintaining the cold chain, putting the skilled manpower and the doctors and the vaccinators in place, the nursing staff, the back office staff for the registration, the IT, the CoWIN app, a huge host of things, including the bio-waste disposal, the sanitary workers, the cotton swab, disposal of the syringe and needles, monitoring of the patients post-vaccination, and of course, maintaining a record of the surveillance after the person goes home. So there's a huge chain of events which need to be done in a coordinated manner. So I think the first set actually would start off anytime between, I think, 10th, 12th, 15th of this month. And then rapidly we progress forward. The Serum Institute has already said it has about 30 or 40 million doses which are ready to be dispatched with immediate basis. So now it's only a question of the local coordination and putting the vaccine on the ground, and the doctors there and the nursing staff there to actually start the immunization campaign. And having said that, this would be the largest immunization program on planet Earth. No one would have ever seen this kind of thing. That's why the practice runs, what we call as the dry runs, was so critical, so that we put all the checks and balances in place so that we are not caught napping in the event of any eventuality. All this is to make sure that there is no eventuality.
Right. And Dr. Tiku, which is also why I want to focus on the statement made by the DCGI saying that the vaccines are 110% safe, but some side effects like mild fever, pain and allergy are very common with every vaccine. Now, this is a question that is likely to reel on the minds of the people that, you know, what are the possible side effects that could be, and should we wait it out and then go in for the vaccine, or just let our immunity fight the virus like how 2020 has really passed? What is the mindset that a person should really have at this point, given the kind of details that are in front? And also please speak about the possible side effects.
Well, this particular vaccine doesn't have any major safety concerns or side effects. The side effects for all vaccines are there. No vaccine is without side effects, and the side effects are minor, which might be low-grade fever, body ache, headache, pain at the injection site. And more than that, I don't think there's anything to this particular vaccine also, and majority of the vaccines have the same side effects. So as far as the side effects are concerned, I don't think we have to be too negative or skeptical about the whole thing, because we have enough data which says there are no major side effects to this particular vaccine. And so we have to encourage people to come forward. That's why this vaccine was always India's best bet against the pandemic, because we have enough data regarding the safety, efficacy, and there are no major logistical hurdles. You don't need -70, -20 degrees for this. Apart from safety, efficacy, immunogenicity, it's the cost, it is the cold chain, the storage, and all these things will be taken care of as this particular vaccine, as far as this particular vaccine is concerned. So this Serum Institute vaccine, AstraZeneca vaccine, is our best bet, and I think there should be no major safety concerns. And the vaccine is being rolled out in UK also tomorrow, and soon, say in 10, 15 days in India also, and we'll keep updating the data. We'll get more and more information. The trials are going on, but till now, there are no major safety concerns. So we shouldn't have too much on the negativities of the side effects and stuff like that. I think we should be very optimistic. As far as the Bharat Biotech vaccine goes, I don't think that will be the vaccine which will be used initially, because that's just a backup. Because of the mutant strains and all that, the government is being proactive. So that's only given restricted use in emergency situations. So as far as side effects go, I don't think there has to be a major concern regarding the side effects. I still feel this is safe, efficacious.
All right, Dr. Tiku, I'm sorry I'm having to interrupt you here, but both Dr. Tiku and Dr. Bagai stay on with us.